Good morning, I'm Caitlin Pearson. Thanks for joining us for Mornings on the Hill.
And I'm Alexis Scott. Here's a look at some of the stories we'll be talking about over the next hour.
A week after the school shooting in Parkland, Florida, a Syracuse student has had connections there and speaks about the bravery of the victims.
Differently abled athletes get a chance to shine on the court. We'll tell you how Orange Ability allowed the campus community to experience sports in a different light.
And I'm live in front of the Planters Nutmobile right now, which is parked on Waverly Avenue. Many SU students and faculty have shared their nutty experiences via Twitter. Found out where you can cash the Nutmobile next. All that plus your weather coming up in Mornings on the Hill.
Our top story this hour, students are still reeling from the devastating shooting at Marjorie Stoneman Douglas High School in Parkland, Florida, that killed 17 people. For one student here at Syracuse, being hours away from his home state hasn't lessened any of the emotions.
Our Zach Staten spoke to the student this week and joins us live to tell us how the SU senior is dealing with the tragedy.
Well, Alexis and Caitlin, last Wednesday began just like any other day for Jake Marsh. He was preparing for class here at SU when he glanced at Twitter and saw Florida's school shooting was trending. He immediately started looking for more information, and what he found horrified him. The Weston native immediately recognized the city of Parkland, where his family lives, very close to the school. He found himself stunned that a city like Parkland was suddenly at the center of national headlines.
And then when you see people like Anderson Cooper in Parkland, Florida, where nothing bad happens, right. People play sports, they go to school, they get good grades, and they go home, and you repeat that every day. So it's just crazy to see in a school, that area with nothing bad happening, that this happened.
Marsh called family and friends to ensure everyone was okay, but was still reeling with the devastation of the tragedy through much of Wednesday. He also had the challenge of gathering himself enough to call the Syracuse men's basketball game that night for WAER Sports. Though he's called various games throughout his time at Syracuse, he recalls having no idea what he was doing during that one.
I survived the broadcast, nothing catastrophic happened, but my mind was not there at all.
While the shooting has stayed with him nearly a week afterwards, he's gotten some inspiration from his family. His cousin, Nikki, a student at Florida State, spoke at a vigil in front of the Florida State student body.
In times like this, we come together as a community at our home away from home to continue to be strong together and show each other love for each other every day.
Her ability to speak in the hours after the tragedy was something that inspired Jake to stay strong.
To know that and to prove that our family, someone in our family has what it takes to stand in front of hundreds, thousands of people at a big-time university. FSU is 50,000 kids roughly, and knowing that she's strong and, like you said, didn't completely break down and stand up for our city is amazing.
Her courage is certainly admirable, and students at the high school are taking action. They've already planned March for Our Lives, a protest in Washington, D.C., taking aim at gun violence. And Marsh says seeing the outpouring of support for Parkland and the action already taken makes him proud to be from South Florida. Reporting live, I'm Zach Staten for Mornings on the Hill.
It's now time to take a look at your weather and figure out why, even though it's in February, it might be the perfect day to bring out those summer shorts.
At least that's the case this morning. Our Sarah Parks is live on University Ave to tell us what to expect later on. Sarah?
Thank you and good morning. It's absolutely beautiful outside. I had to bring out my favorite summer floral shirt in light of this weather. As you may already know, this is not typical weather for Syracuse in middle of February. Speaking of which, Syracuse ties the highest temperature record for today as the warmest February 21st on record. So if you were thinking about dressing warm today, I would really reconsider it. This morning has been partly cloudy, but as you may be able to see, the sun has been shining through quite a bit and possible showers may come throughout the day. Temperatures will be reaching as high as 63 today with humidity hovering around 75%. So for those who like to hang outside before the SU basketball games, today is the day to do it. Make sure you're not out too late though today, because it will reach back into the mid-20s by tonight, and unfortunately temperature highs will dip back into the 30s tomorrow with a possible chance of snow. They will continue to hover in the 40s into the weekend, but are expected to climb into the 50s by Sunday. Make sure you keep your rain jackets on deck though, because there may be slight rain showers on Friday and Sunday. So throughout the rest of the week, I really would be on the lookout. There's nothing more disappointing than walking into 30-degree weather in your shorts. And that's your Mornings on the Hill weather update. I'm Sarah Perks. Back to you in studio.
Now, campuses across the country are getting a little less worldly. On average, U.S. colleges are seeing an average 7% decline in international students attending their institutions.
The survey of 500 universities by the Institute of International Education also found that nearly 45% of campuses are seeing a drop. Experts point to a harsh anti-immigration Trump administration as to why students are skipping out on the U.S.
However, Syracuse University actually is seeing a steady increase in undergraduate international representation, with international graduate student numbers also growing. We have graduate students increasing by 4% in the past year and graduate students almost by 1%.
The students represent 126 different countries this calendar year. Since 2010, China has remained #1 represented country on the Hill for both undergrad and grad students.
SU junior Sonia More is from Thailand and says that although thrilled to be on such a diverse campus, there's more to be done.
I do think that Syracuse University should continue to make an effort to accommodate its international students and its multicultural students, because sometimes I still feel like there's a huge gap between American and international students, and I feel like that's because there aren't enough platforms out there.
Mori created her media company Globalist to try and combat this issue.
The digital platform highlights international students and multicultural events. A bike sharing program is something Syracuse has been pushing for a long time.
Now, Mayor Ben Walsh has put out a call to action for vendors to come forward and jumpstart the initiative. They also want to add more bike lanes around the city.
Though no bikes are out around campus right now, in the span of a year, bike sharing will be available for all residents to use.
So AdaptCNY, we're looking at improving and ways of developing Syracuse. We feel like a bike share system is a great way to do that and forward build momentum in Syracuse, even from a transportation perspective. So looking at all these other peer communities that are doing it, we felt like it was time to bring this to Syracuse as well.
AdaptCNY says the purpose is for an alternate means of transportation and for leisure activity, but also to help Centro. So if patrons can't make their way to the closest Centro bus stop on foot, they can bike there, cutting their time nearly in half for overall travel.
Hundreds of people gather in the Carrier Dome for sporting events to cheer on the Orange in hopes for a big win.
But Mai Owens is live in the studio to tell us about a sporting event where the players and the fans came together to play for the same team.
Yes, Alexis and Caitlin, the Disability Student Union hosted Orange Ability, where over 50 people gathered to play different sports in order to get a better understanding of how it's actually played. The focus is on sports and competition, but it's more than just a workout.
It's also important because we get to interact with non-disabled students, non-disabled community members, and bring the two communities together that way.
Priya Pinner is the president of the Disability Student Union at Syracuse University and says students, community members, and even Otto were able to see
passion and commitment and training and skills,
which are all the things she says that embody these athletes. This event was started in 2011, and those like Chris Hildebrandt, who are part of the event, say it's a way to break the mold when it comes to disabilities.
People with disabilities aren't athletic or they're frail, and then you watch people, crash around. It's very different than normal experience.
Among the teams were the WNY Wreckers Rugby Squad, CNY United, who play power soccer, and Move Along, who play wheelchair basketball. When they come to participate in the sport, they won't just be leaving sweaty, but with more knowledge about the people who sit in these.
We're oftentimes ignored, we're oftentimes forgotten, our access needs are almost never met.
And despite these issues, many found the event encouraging for those with disabilities.
I'd like them to know that they can do a lot of these things, that sometimes we get in our own minds that we can't do stuff, but that you come out and you see people very much like you that are very capable athletes and very able to do a lot of fun and exciting sports, and really anybody can do that.
The Disability Student Union invites anyone disabled or not disabled to join. For more information, you can go to their Facebook page. Reporting live in the studio, I'm Mai Owens for Mornings on the Hill.
Coming up here on Mornings on the Hill, we take you into the Kimmel Computer Lab to see something that you may not have known existed on campus.
We have all details you need to know to get started at this collaborative space.
We also have coming up in this half hour a Syracuse tradition that takes over the SU campus this week.
Stay with us for that story and more on Mornings on the Hill.
Welcome back to Mornings on the Hill. In the basement of Kimmel Hall, there's a creative space available to all students on campus. The Makerspace gives free access to 3D printers, embroidery services, and laser engraving.
Students can print shirt designs and even wood-engraved business cards. There's so many possibilities to the Makerspace, and it's all up to you.
Technology you guys are using, I think it's taken away a lot of the virtual work that, I tell people, you're great with your thumbs, but you got 8 other digits to use, and we need to use them.
You don't have to be an expert to come in and use the facilities. There are employees there to teach you what you need to know. The Makerspace is open from Monday through Friday, 10 a.m. to 8 p.m., and weekends, 12 p.m. to 6 p.m.
While the weather may be unseasonably warm right now, the Syracuse campus is all geared up for Winter Carnival Week.
Winter Carnival is a tradition at Syracuse that dates back to 1930. Put on by the Traditions Commission, it always offers a variety of indoor and outdoor activities.
Activities have ranged from human dog sled races, ice carvings, chili cook-offs, and snow sculptures. But those involved in Traditions Commission say it is about much more than a week of fun.
I think that traditions at Syracuse are really important to continue because it shows the students where your roots are and whether those traditions change, we can still kind of keep that orange pride that we have here.
This year, the events will include a glow-in-the-dark late skate night, laser tag, the outdoor chili cook-off, and a bunch of free giveaways in Shine all throughout the week.
To learn more, you can find Traditions Commission on Facebook and posters with details on the events all around campus. This year, SU student-run PR firm Hill Communications has joined a national competition.
Around 75 schools are competing against each other to create the best campaign. The Bateman Competition is an annual event that the Public Relations Society of America hosts every year. This year, the PRSSA paired up with the organization With Purpose for the campaign. Firm director Angela Anastasi tells us why Hill Communications decided to compete.
The organization, essentially, it's such a great cause. It's a student and child-run organization that raises money and awareness for pediatric cancer specifically, which is an issue that is really underaddressed and underserved in today's society.
SU's campaign kicked off last Thursday by making cards for the children at Upstate Hospital and will end March 15th. The winner of the competition will receive a trophy and $3,000 cash prize. The Hill has been buzzing on social media and things are starting to get a little bit nutty.
Our own trend spotter, Nicole Dementri, is in studio to tell us what's cracking.
Hi, Alexis and Caitlin. Well, a lot of things are cracking, and students and faculty alike have taken to Twitter to share what they cashewed and where they cashewed the Planters Nutmobile that was driving around campus. So let's take a look. I know Kev's here. He said, "I can finally say it. I've seen the Planters Nutmobile." Kev's, we're all with you there. And, Zach Palmer tweeted a picture. Look how beautiful this 27-foot Nutmobile is. And it is driving all around campus. He said, "Anyone fancy a peanut? #Nutmobile." And, before all of this started and everyone started to tweet, I talked with Liam Sullivan, one of the peanutters, who is driving currently all around the East Coast to see what it's like to be back on his campus.
We're here with the Planters Nutmobile, which, frankly enough, is my job. It's awesome. It's a shell of a time.
Yeah, and they are looking for SU students to come and join them on the road. They tweeted yesterday, "What's crackin', Syracuse U? Want a job you can go nuts for? Cash you on campus all week at our information session, which will be tomorrow night in Hall of Languages." And guys, before I send it over to both of you, I do have a joke for you guys. Now, where do peanut drivers go to fill their gas tanks? Anyone? Anyone? Okay. The Shell station. Back to you.
Now, professional athletes have been making headlines for speaking out about political and social issues.
Most recently, LeBron James and conservative host Laura Ingraham got into it over James' criticism of President Trump. This morning, our Billy Owens is live with an SU athlete to talk about the issue. Billy?
Thanks, Caitlin and Alexis. I'm joined this morning by SU forward Matthew Moyer. Thank you for joining us, Matt.
Of course, no problem.
So, in light of the recent events involving LeBron James and Fox host Laura Ingraham, when she told LeBron he needs to just, quote, shut up and dribble, what are your thoughts on that as an athlete?
You know, honestly, it's sad. You know, obviously we know LeBron is very influential to people around the world on the basketball court, but honestly, it's not just that. I mean, he's donated and gave back to schools and, you know, local places like Cleveland and Akron. And, you know, for all athletes, for that to be done to, it shouldn't be LeBron. And it shouldn't be to any athlete at all, in my opinion. You know, I think if somebody told me to shut up and dribble, I don't know how I'd feel about that either. So, you know, I just think it's the whole situation is just sad.
And whenever an athlete does participate in politics or even voicing their opinion, there's always a big response via social media, whether it's negative or positive. And I know you are an active member of Snapchat. So what are your thoughts on social media, especially when it comes to voicing your opinion?
You know, I think nowadays social media is a new form of news outlet itself. You know, social media gives people to voice an opinion. I wouldn't say I'm the guy to go on social media and voice my opinion about, you know, Trump or, the controversy between the athletes. But, you know, it's interesting to go on social media and see what people's responses are, you know, what people have to say about issues and gather opinions and voices. And it honestly helps me gather my thoughts on what I think about the issue.
So now let's change gears a little bit. Can you tell us what it's like being an athlete here on SU's campus, especially an athlete of color?
You know, I would say Syracuse in general is a very, very diverse place. You know, and the campus is diverse. We have a wide variety of, you know, student population. And, I would say I get treated excellent. The people around here are very nice. The fans around here are very nice, and I love this place, you know, as a whole. And I think that's one thing. You know, the athletes get treated very well here.
Great. So, so you said that you have always felt as an equal here on campus and you never felt any form of discrimination, correct?
Correct.
Great.
No question.
That's great, always to hear. Thank you once again to SU's Matt Moyer for joining us this morning. Still to come here on Mornings on the Hill, SU and ESF have teamed up to bring awareness to amount of waste on campus. Stay with us, that story and more just ahead.
Welcome back and thanks for joining us. Now, RecycleMania is a friendly 8-week competition to promote waste reduction activities on college campuses.
Epiphany Catling joins us live in studio with information on how Syracuse is getting involved.
That's right, Caitlin and Alexis. Syracuse University and SUNY ESF are participating in RecycleMania this year. I had a chance to speak with some of the people involved.
Syracuse University and SUNY ESF teamed up in hopes of spreading the love of recycling to more people.
The goal basically wasn't to come out first or anything like that. The goal was simply to observe the process of waste streams within the main buildings on campus.
SU is a familiar face to RecycleMania, but this is ESF's first year competing.
We've actually partnered with SU because our campus is so small. We don't think that within the short space of time that we have, we're going to collect enough bottle caps.
They're collecting bottle caps for Chariots of Love, an organization that uses the money from recycling to purchase wheelchairs for children.
If you go through each major building on campus, you will see a little bucket with sort of like a poster on there.
Some businesses on Marshall Street donated items for the competition, but Mogul Indian Grill took it one step further by donating free lunch to the winners. The co-founder says he felt passionate about this cause.
We also switching our container, the one we use, from plastic to like fiber, which is like all natural, doesn't affect the nature, and they're recyclable. So little things, they always add up and they make a big difference.
So far, Syracuse and ESF recycled over 100,000 pounds. There are 4 more weeks to participate in this year's RecycleMania. Reporting live in studio, I'm Epiphany Catling for Mornings on the Hill.
We'd like to welcome our 1030 team who's joined us here this morning. And now, guys, I'm sure you don't want to hear me sing a tune this morning, but there is a group on campus that tomorrow evening, some real performers here, will be taking the stage.
3, 4.
All of the a cappella groups at Syracuse, from Main Squeeze to Auto Tunes, will perform in their PJs for the annual Cozy Capella, which will take place at 8:30 in Goldstein Auditorium.
Tickets are free at the Shine box office and wintry refreshments are provided. It is sure to be a fun night of music here on the Hill. Now that'll do it for this morning. I'm Caitlin Pearson. Thanks for watching Orange Nation.
And I'm Alexis Scott. Don't go away. Mornings on the Hill continues right after this break.
Good morning, I'm Liliana Pearson. Thank you for joining us this morning for Mornings on the Hill.
And I'm Gianna Astorito. Here's a look at some of the stories we'll be talking about in our second half hour.
Florida. Coming up this half hour, more reactions to the school shooting in Florida. We'll talk live with a Newhouse journalism professor about her commentary published in the New York Times.
Black Panther is breaking records and some 300 Syracuse kids got to see it for free. We'll have the reaction.
And SU is overhauling its website to make them more accessible for people with disabilities. We'll tell you what's involved.
All that plus your weather and orange sports coming up on this edition of Mornings on the Hill.
Our top story this half hour, a local group has raised money for kids to see the new Black Panther movie.
Our Odea Pincus joins us now live with the story.
Thanks, guys. The spirit of giving was present at Destiny USA this weekend, where hundreds of people got to see the new Marvel movie for free. I went to Regal Cinemas this weekend to check it out. While breaking records at the box office this weekend, the excitement around Marvel's Black Panther was at full speed in Syracuse.
I've been waiting for something like this. I've been waiting for a long time.
And among this weekend's moviegoers were local kids, thanks to area activists and the hashtag Black Panther Challenge. Are you excited to see the movie today? Yes. It's an international movement to raise money for children to see the film. Rosie Seals, an activist with Black Lives Matter Syracuse, helped take on that challenge.
It started where a couple of us talking about coming together and, hanging out, to me showing my nephew the previews of the trailer of Black Panther, to seeing him light up, to saying we need to have more Black joy from these kids.
Seals, along with other local activists, helped to raise $10,530 for each child to get a ticket, as well as popcorn and a soda. The group reached out to local community organizations like Team Angel, who brought the kids that they work with.
This is about bringing the kids here, give them opportunity. A lot of kids don't have that support or money for the movie, so basically give them opportunity to come out on a Saturday, have a field trip, and have fun with them.
Now, between Friday and Saturday, the group has managed to take more than 200 kids to see this movie, but it's not just a film for children.
Black Panther, yes. I'm 56 years old. Yes, this is my time. This is yes.
Seal says that in Black Panther, it's about representation.
You're seeing us in a positive light. You're seeing us as royalty. You're seeing us as intelligent. You're seeing us as an advanced nation.
She says the group is still buying passes for those that weren't able to see the film that weekend. For Mornings on the Hill, I'm Odea Pincus. And Seal says that later that Saturday, they were just paying for random people's tickets. And as of last night, she said they had given 267 children tickets and 418 people total. Reporting live, I'm Odea Pincus for Mornings on the Hill.
Time for another check on our weather for today and figure out why everyone should leave their Canadian Goose jacket at home today.
Sarah Perks is live on University Avenue to show us what to expect.
Yes, it is absolutely beautiful outside. As you may be able to see, students are walking around in shorts and t-shirts. It's very summertime weather out here, including myself. I am wearing one of my favorite floral shirts that I usually wear during the springtime in light of this beautiful weather. Speaking of this beautiful weather, Syracuse has the high temperature record for today as one of the warmest February 21st on record. So if you were planning on dressing warm today, I would really reconsider. And this morning has been partly cloudy, but as you may be able to see, the sun is shining through quite a bit, and possible showers may come throughout the day. Temperatures will be reaching 63 today with humidity hovering around 75%. So for those who like to hang outside before the SU basketball games, today is the day to do it. Make sure you're not out too late though, because it will reach back into the mid-20s by tonight. And unfortunately, temperature highs will dip back into the 30s tomorrow with a possible chance of snow. They will continue to hover in the 40s into the weekend, but are expected to climb into the 50s by Sunday. Make sure you keep your rain jackets on deck though, because there may be slight rain showers on Friday and Sunday. So throughout the rest of the week, I really would be on the lookout to see what the temperature is going to be like. There's nothing worse than walking into 30-degree weather in your shorts. That's your Mornings on the Hill weather update. I'm Sarah Perks, back to you in studio.
Some students might have noticed an email in their inbox this past weekend, and you might want to go back and look at it because it's about student engagement.
If you happen to miss it, you might want to go back and take a look, because this could be your opportunity to share how well Syracuse does with helping you balance your academic and extracurricular calendar. The survey will have questions about school workloads in and out of the classroom, as well as your community engagement. Key Ross said filling out the survey doesn't only help with your experience, but for the future Orange students as well.
Move It Monday is a part of a Healthy Campus initiative here at Syracuse.
This past Monday's class was held in Flanagan Hall and led by Karen Russo. She led students through a full body workout that included modification of exercise so people of all skill levels could join in. Russo said the free classes offer an opportunity for you to learn what works best for your body and how to use the gym if you are just getting started on your fitness journey.
Another Greek organization has been suspended from campus for violations of the Student Code of Conduct.
This is the third IFC organization to violate the Code of Conduct and call to action.
The university ordered the suspension after a Department of Public Safety investigation. Fraternities are overseeing the fraternity conference by the executive board, both of which work to ensure everyone's experience is positive. Vice President of Judicial and Standards Bella Carter worked with the executive board to ensure safety.
Ideally, the way the system is set up, we're mitigating danger and making sure that everyone can have as safe of experience as possible.
For the suspended organization, the director of the Office of Fraternity and Sorority Affairs said that hazing was not among the conduct violations. The length of the violation and nature of the violations are unclear. Syracuse University is making a huge push towards making all of its web pages accessible to those with disabilities.
Our own Jose Cuevas joins us now with more.
Syracuse University has nearly 900 web pages that need to be updated or overhauled completely to meet accessibility standards. But what prompted the university to take on such a large project?
When we think about accessibility, we usually think about ramps or entrances, but rarely do we think about websites.
In the fall, we were notified by the Department of Education Office of Civil Rights that a complaint had been filed against the university that the websites of Syracuse University were not fully accessible.
In response, Syracuse instituted new policies.
As of January 1st, 2018, any piece of content that's published on any public-facing platform at Syracuse University needs to be fully WCAG compliant.
WCAG stands for Web Content Accessibility Guidelines. One recommendation that they make is to caption all of your videos. Imagine you have a hearing disability. Being accessible.
The university has a plan to make all existing content accessible.
We've chosen to target the top 50 websites. And these are the websites that represent north of 90% of the traffic.
The project includes making sites accessible to screen readers, captioning videos, and photos, even though there may be some ambiguity.
The WCAG standard is not clear on how detailed you need to be in your descriptions of pictures, but photo 1 is probably not okay.
Syracuse has been given a deadline of mid-March, but things are looking good.
Early word from the Office of Civil Rights is that they've been pleased with what they see, and they're looking forward to seeing where we are in the middle of March.
Bennett encourages departments or individuals struggling with making their web pages accessible to reach out to his office.
Coming up here on Mornings on the Hill.
One college at Syracuse University is taking initiative to help people suffering with suicidal thoughts. Also coming up, professor and New York Times contributor Erika Good joins us in response to last week's shooting. Stay with us for those stories and much more here on Mornings on the Hill.
I'm Sarah Bonadies with more reaction now on the story of the Florida school shooting. I'm joined by Erika Good, a journalism professor at Newhouse and a New York Times op-ed contributor who wrote an article in response to the shootings that took place last Wednesday in Parkland, Florida. Thank you so much for joining me today.
Thank you for having me.
You've responded to similar shootings in the past. What is different this time around, and what compelled you to write the article?
Well, 5 years ago, I was working for the New York Times as a reporter. I was covering criminal justice for the national desk, and in that job, I had covered the mass shooting in Aurora, Colorado, in the movie theater, and I had also, it was just after Newtown, so I had done some articles that were associated with that. After that happened, I was curious about what people were doing to try to head these horrific events off before they happened. And I learned about a program in Los Angeles that had been started and that was aimed at trying to sort of figure out like who was vulnerable and having thoughts of doing something violent, and how to tell whether those were serious or not, and what to do, maybe try to intervene.
Mm-hmm. So when you visited this program in Los Angeles, what did you learn about the possible trends in these school shootings, as well as the program itself, what they are doing right and what we can learn from their example?
One of the things that was interesting was that in Los Angeles, this was a program that was started by the Los Angeles Police Department, but is eventually developed as county-wide. It's participated in by law enforcement, by mental health official, county health department, mental health department, by the public schools, by colleges in the area, and there is a sharing of information and an effort to educate everyone, teachers, administrators, mental health people, law enforcement, about, sort of what services are available, what you can do if you're worried about a student, et cetera, et cetera. There's a sharing of information that is unusual in cities in this country. Los Angeles is viewed pretty much as a model for what could be done. Now, obviously, it's impossible to head off all of these things, but there are some things we know. Yeah.
And I want to thank you so much for joining me today, and back to the news desk.
No one likes waking up and getting out of bed for a fire alarm.
But the residents of Lawrence and Hall have dealt with it quite a bit the past 2 semesters.
For the residents of the building, that goes up 20 stories high. Waking up and walking down those steps at 4 a.m. sounds like a nightmare. It is said that the cause of the constant alarms are from cigarettes.
Good morning, I'm Alana Selden with your Orange Sports Update here on Mornings on the Hill.
Starting off with some softball, over the weekend, Syracuse returned to the Mary Nutter Classic in Palm Springs for the first time since the 2015 season. The Orange posted a 3-2 record for the competition after meeting Utah, Sacramento State, Grand Canyon, UCLA, and finishing up with a big win over Cal Poly on Monday. On their meeting with Sac State on Saturday night, sophomore Alexa Romero threw a perfect game, leading the Orange to an 8-0 run in 5 innings. Romero's perfect game is the second in program history, and it was recorded back in 2000. Q's now up 5-3 overall. Next up, they will travel to Texas for the Houston Hilton Plaza Invitational this weekend. Well, as the Orange gear up for their long season ahead of them, one player's journey has been about more than just tallying wins. Senior infielder Faith Kane is cherishing her last few trips around the diamond. Check it out.
The feeling when I'm out on the field and just like the crack of the bat right when it hits the right spot, like for a home run, or just when you make that amazing play or stretch. It's just amazing being able to celebrate with all your teammates. I love this game more than anything.
Sometimes we fall in love with our biggest challenges, and for Faith, that was softball. But years of letdown and injury made her think she never realized her dream until given a second chance as a walk-on at SU.
I came and I literally thought I was going to be sitting on the bench every single game. My mom even texts me and she goes, "Faith, it's gonna be okay. Like, if you're sitting on the bench, it's all good." And I just remember I just was playing and I was like, oh my gosh, it was just a dream. Like, I couldn't believe I was living out my dream, traveling the country, playing the game I love.
Her softball career is one she couldn't imagine her time at SU without.
You literally like live, breathe, die together. And just even conditioning, even though it's terrible, it's just like a huge group, big family.
And although her time up at bat will soon come to an end, Kane is ready to walk on Faith to the next chapter of her life.
I'll be done with softball after next year, which will be sad, but I actually am at a point in my life where I'm just like, I'm ready. I think softball will always be on my mind, but I will understand that it's not a part of my life anymore. I think it's time to let it go.
That's your sports update. I'm Alana Selden for Mornings on the Hill. Stay with us after the break. We've got all you need to know about a recent decision that will allow grad students to form unions and everything going on this weekend on the Hill.
Welcome back. In 2016, the National Labor Relations Board issued a decision that opened the doors for student workers to unionize.
Since then, there's been a movement on campus to unionize graduate student workers here at SU. Our own Allison Calguire joins us now with the story.
That's right. The NLRB decision made it so that graduate student workers at private institutions are able to form unions. The movement to unionize graduate student workers at SU has been around for more than 3 years. But the 2016 decision was a catalyst for the bigger push by the Syracuse Graduate Employees United group.
The Syracuse Graduate Employees United wants higher pay and better health care for graduate student workers.
And that's just the start.
If Syracuse were to unionize, it would involve all 1,200 graduate student workers. But Daniel says it would also involve professional organizers who would serve in an advisory capacity.
Graduate students would be the primary people at the table, and they would help us through that process and ensure that there's a level of continuity.
Graduate student workers would be expected to pay union dues.
The amount that we're paying in dues would be outweighed by the amount that we would be earning by standing up for ourselves.
The graduate student workers I spoke with say they're generally supportive of the idea of a union, though they haven't heard of this specific campaign.
I am actually not too familiar with a campaign to unionize.
Peyton Ziegler is a graduate student worker at SU, but while she was an undergrad at the University of Oregon, the Graduate Student Workers Union went on strike.
It kind of sucked for us undergrads, honestly.
2 weeks before finals.
We kind of suffered a little bit just because we had no one teaching us.
Moving forward, Daniels doesn't expect the university to allow unionization without a fight.
And the administration, the people who have all of the power currently, aren't going to stand for that. We know that they're going to be massively against this.
I did reach out to graduate school administrators for comment, however, I did not hear back. I also spoke with Jack Wilson, who is the president of the Graduate Students Organization. He says they do not have a position on the issue of unionization, but are open to having a dialogue. For Mornings on the Hill, I'm Allison Caliguire.
There's plenty to do on and off the Hill this weekend as February wraps up. I'm Nicole Dementry. Let's start with tomorrow. And Thursday from 4:30 to 7:30 p.m., head down to Clinton Square Ice Rink for free ice skating and food sponsored by Modern Malt and WCNY as part of Winterfest. Now, if you want to stay on campus, head to Cozy Capella and Shine Auditorium for an evening of serenading at 8 p.m. Tickets are free from the box office. And for those that may want a movie night, University Union is presenting the screening of Pixar's adorable film Coco on Friday. Catch Miguel and HBC Gifford starting at 8 p.m. Friday night is also glow-in-the-dark skate night and Tennessee Ice Pavilion. Free skate rentals, hot cocoa, and giveaways begin at 9 p.m. Saturday is a big day for SU sports fans. Men's lacrosse kicks it off as they face number 9 ranked Army at 2 p.m. in the Dome. Men's basketball will be in Durham to play Duke at 6:15. ESPN will broadcast. Saturday also marks the screening of Tennessee's Olympics. The events are free, but registration is required on their website. And if you want to find out Sunday's opportunities and events, head to our website. Happy weekend, Syracuse.
Syracuse might be in line to break some records today. This beautiful weather we are having could potentially be a record high.
Today started off about 30 degrees warmer than a typical February day would. The high is expected to hit this afternoon, but won't last too long, so be sure to head outside and enjoy it while you can. I know that I will be once I'm done here.
I'm heartbroken. Heartbroken that it's supposed to be snowing tomorrow.
I know, and you know, at 11, the temperature's actually supposed to drop like 20 or something degrees, so we better get out there fast because it's about to be freezing outside compared to what it is.
I can't believe it. Yesterday I was outside reading a book in short sleeves. It was incredible, and to know that we have to go back to real winter weather is just not something that I want to have to think about and deal with.
It was almost too good to be true.
Yeah, right?
We're from Syracuse, so I feel like it's kind of expected. So.
Yeah, exactly. It feels weird being that we're the snowiest school in America right now, and it was almost 70 yesterday, and we broke records at like 12:30 a.m. Like, what?
That was weird.
Yeah,
I think that was the weirdest part, waking up at 6 a.m. and it was 60 degrees.
I almost forgot a jacket.
Thanks, ladies. That is going to do it for us this Wednesday here on Mornings on the Hill. I'm Liliana Pearson.
And I'm Gianna Astorito. Thanks for watching, Orange Nation.